Hello and welcome to Partisan video. This is the first ever episode. I've never done anything like this before, so you'll have to bear with me if this is not very good or it's got no effects or anything like that. I'm still learning the technicalities of how to do this, and I'm recording in one take. So yeah, I'm bound to trip over my words and make a mistake. I am sorry in advance. The reason I'm doing this is simply because there's been that much happening in the last 48 hours. It's very, very difficult for me to sum up without writing a post of 3,000 words. That's really difficult to understand, and that might not get across the message I'm trying to. So I thought if I made a video and I talked about it, it'd be easier to get to grips with what is a very, very complex situation. I'm going to assume that that people watching this might not know everything, so I'm going to recap from the start. Carson Yeung, who is it's his birthday tomorrow, who is currently in prison for money laundering, has served notice that he wishes BIHL to hold an EGM, Extraordinary General Meeting, for him to remove directors and appoint directors of his choosing. Back in January, while I was away in America, Birmingham International Holdings announced to the stock exchange that they were not going to do that, mainly because they had some queries over the kind of directors that Carson wanted to put onto the board, namely his common law wife, Joanna Wang Man Lee, a long-time business associate and apparently chief engineer at Birmingham International Holdings, a guy called Lee Wen-jun, and his driver, Arjun Gurung Kumar, who's apparently executive assistant at Birmingham International Holdings. Fast forward to now, and you've got a situation where the holding company's in receivership voluntarily, as a move to kind of sort out the mess that's going on between the two warring factions within the board. Carson Yeung went to court and he tried to force them to do three things. Firstly, he wanted to prevent any sale of Birmingham City Football Club. Secondly, he wanted to have a look at the shareholder register. And thirdly, he wanted his EGM. Now, as it has been announced to the stock exchange, he went to court and the judge kind of went no. There was supposed to be a further hearing on 6th of May, but that has now been withdrawn because of procedural errors made by Carson's solicitors, Buff and Company. So it looked like everything was going to plan. And then it transpires, it's announced in the Hong Kong Standard today, and apparently Chinese newspapers yesterday, there was a notice, to wit that Carson is unilaterally calling an extraordinary general meeting to do all the things that he wanted to do, to remove every director bar four. The four he wants to keep being Peter Panu, Matthew Chan, Shun Hua, Carson Wong, and another whose name escapes me. And he wants to get rid of everyone who's opposed him. So that would be Panos, his brother-in-law Victor Ma, he will be the chairman Chung Xing, and he wants to bring on his wife, his common law wife, his driver, and Lee Wen-jun. Okay. It turns out that he wanted to have a look at the shareholder register so he could send out this to all the shareholders. That's been denied to him, so he can't do that. But by broadcasting it through newspapers, they should get the message that there is going to be an EGM the 12th of March. As a major shareholder in the company, Birmingham International Holdings, he owns 27.9%. He's perfectly entitled to do so. The fact that he will be there, his representatives will be there, that Constant will no doubt have representatives be there, will probably ensure that there is what's called a quorum, which is the sufficient amount of shareholders for a decision to be binding. I'm told that there is no legal recourse to stop him holding the CGM whatsoever, unless they went to the courts and said, look, there's a disqualifying condition for one of these directors. They can't do anything about it. Now, Joanna Wang Man Lee, she has two issues. Firstly, there is no way the Football League are ever going to let her pass the owners and directors test. Secondly, her identification documentation does not match. She was in court over Carson's house about 18 months ago, and she gave a different name. And she gave a Hong Kong. You have to give a Hong Kong ID card when you're in court as a defendant or as a plaintiff. And the name that her Hong Kong ID card is in Wang Li Fei, which is her sister. So I can see that causing problems, but that's by the by. From speaking to my colleagues in Hong Kong, such as Will, the co-author of my book, which I haven't bought already, please do, shameless plug there. From speaking to Will, there is no legal recourse to stopping this. But even if they succeed and they get rid of the directors and they put the new directors in place, the receivers are still in control of Birmingham International Holdings. They still have all the investigative powers that would have been that would have been given to them, and they won't be pushed around. However, when Ernst & Young were appointed, they were appointed by court order. That court order is confidential. In that court order is the limitations of what they can do. This would be really useful information. The only people who have this information are Ernst & Young, director of the company, and the company secretary. And although I've requested to see that document, it has been denied. I am concerned. I am really concerned that there may be a situation where directors of the company are still allowed to hire and fire Birmingham City Football Club directors. Because if that is the case, then Panos is history. I don't think Pano will ever come back to Birmingham, but he would appoint someone in his place, someone to run it for him. So maybe Kumar, someone like that, and all hell will break loose. I can't imagine the current management team of Birmingham City Football Club being happy working for Pano again. I can't imagine the Football League being happy that Pano's there. And whilst I do not believe the Football League will deduct 10 points from us for going into receivership at the moment, because we've been open, we've been honest, and we've talked a lot to them, I think if the circumstances change where it looks like Carson has appointed people, so he's affecting the day-to-day running of the club, where Panu is involved, and I know they're not happy with him, I can see them saying, you are in receivership, therefore you're going to get docked 10 points. In short, what it comes down to is if the directors of BIH have the power to hire and fire at Birmingham City, and if the EGM goes ahead as planned and the changes are made as planned and they're not stopped, we're in a whole heap of trouble. The brown stuff is truly hitting the fan. March is going to be an incredibly pivotal month for the club. Even if that sort of stuff doesn't go through, it will take some sort of legal challenge to stop it, I would think. That costs money. If you can imagine that to fight the Carson in court last week cost £20,000 to hire a barrister for the day and to do the prep work for it. If you can imagine that Ernst & Young are going to charge millions, 1, 2, 3 million for running the holding company, where's that money going to come from? Now, I'm guessing that the Panos faction has told the receivers that they can get paid by selling the club, which is fair enough. I accept that. If they could sell the club to someone who's going to take it further, then I would happily see them take £2 million from whatever to do that. That's fine. However, if they're not allowed to sell the club because Carson's there, because Carson's put the block on it, and Carson's made it absolutely crystal clear he does not want to sell the club, then where are they going to get the money from? I'm told that Birmingham International Holdings and Birmingham City Football Club both have funds and they're both fairly solvent, but how much they have, how long they're solvent for, I don't know. And can they cope with a bill coming in for 2.5, 3 million quid from Ernst & Young? Would that mean the sale of players? Would that mean a fire sale in the summer? And if we got deducted 10 points, are we going to stay up? Or even worse, imagine the scene where we go down this year and start next year in League One and minus 10 points. I don't like being a doom-monger. I really, really don't. But I think I would be remiss if I didn't share my worries. So the crux of this is that I think a couple of things are going to happen. Firstly, Panos, who's been quite pithy in his tweets and has talked in the programme notes, needs to come out and he needs to talk. I suggested to Tom Ross today that Tom requests him, Panos, to go on his show to answer some questions, and if Panos says no, to make it clear to the public that Panos has said no. I've also said to Tom that would help him with the questions to ask. so that we got a good interview out of it. I would ask Panos, and I would ask Peter Panu as well if he's watching. Hi, Peter. What are your short, medium term aims for the club? What do you see happening between now and the end of the season, the end of the year? How do you see that being funded? Is a key question. And do you see any problems with the Football League with regards to being able to fulfil fixtures this year, being able to fulfil fixtures next year? There are lots and lots of questions, and hopefully there won't be lots and lots of silence. The ironic thing I was thinking is that March 3rd last year, I was out in Hong Kong watching Carson being convicted of 6 counts of money laundering. I remember a lot of people thinking, oh, this is the end of the Carson era, we're going to be able to move on. Here we are 12 months down the line, and he's still very much in control. Very, very much in control. Or at least trying. And until that is broken, we are going to continue having these sort of problems. Till next time. If you want to read the website, the address, www.aftonpartisan.co.uk. If you want to read, I mail out people a newsletter once a week generally. Don't really have a set day, but if you put your email address in on the website on the right hand side, you can subscribe and you'll get the newsletter I send out. I try to send out things that I don't put online, but more my own thoughts and opinions. If you want to follow me on Twitter, my Twitter handle is often_partisan. I'm on Facebook as well, as facebook.com/oftenpartisan, and Google+. If you just search for Often Partisan on Google+, I don't really use it, but I think I might have to in the future. Drop me a line. If you want to ask me a question, I'll do my best to answer it. Till then, keep right on.